WWE is locking down a former talent for 2 years. These non-compete clauses are actually pretty insane. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Austin Theory, we got a huge update on him and what's going on with him regarding his return now that the Vision is essentially done without Seth Rollins. Also, we got to talk about a former WWE tag team set to debut to MLW. And we are going to talk about Tony Khan defending his decision to have these long ass pay per views. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Ango Show. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that bell. This way you never miss a video on the channel. I'm going to keep you guys updated along the way with everything that is happening in professional wrestling. For example, let's talk about it. The Good Brothers. A lot of people have been wondering what the hell are they going to do. Just the other week, we were talking about them being in NWA. Obviously, by them being in NWA, that doesn't require a long-term contract, right? A lot of these smaller companies do deals where it is per appearance or, maybe a very short length in time. However, MLW, after a series of teases, they've revealed that the Good Brothers are set to debut for MLW at the MLW and Danny McBride Don Gatto Tequila live special, which is taking place next month, November 20th, 2025, at the Charleston Music Hall Thunder Studios Arena in Charleston, South Carolina. This is a show that will be presented live on YouTube, and if you have a cable provider, you could watch it on beIN Sports. Tickets are on sale now, starting at $15, which is extremely affordable, which, by the way, we talk a lot about WWE ticket prices. This is relatively cheap, but it is true. They are making their debut. Now, I'm actually a big fan of this kind of thing. Obviously, with the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, both guys are incredibly talented. They're veterans, and when they got released from WWE, then they came back to WWE. Then we saw them back in Impact, and then we saw them a little bit on AEW. Then they do their thing in New Japan. I kind of like this idea of these smaller companies in America being able to pick up former WWE talent. I genuinely believe it's a good thing for the industry that, not everybody is signing with AEW. Not everybody is, not everybody's rushing to get there, if that makes sense. And I really appreciate that because I feel like AEW already has such a stacked roster. WWE has a stacked roster. That's a very, very big deal that, they got to actually use the talent that they have. And in this particular situation, the Good Brothers could easily go to AEW, but really, what are they going to do? That's the big question. MLW is a smaller company. NWA is a smaller company. This is a potentially good thing for the industry when you see that former names that were released are doing these things. And obviously Karrion Kross, he's in MLW. He'll be at that event. This should be a relatively stacked show. Now we just got to see what MLW does. How do they deliver? Are they going to be doing are they going to be making a big deal out of this kind of thing? Or, what's the plan? And that's MLW's responsibility, but for us wrestling fans, this is a cheap event to go to, right? The $15 tickets, extremely cheap. But if you want to watch it, you can watch it for free on YouTube. I think that's cool. I think there's a lot of cool names part of this show. Hopefully this could lead to something long term. That's the question mark that I typically have. But either way, I'm super excited to see what happens. Now that brings us to our next topic in today's video. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. Austin Theory is still part of WWE plans, which is very, very, very good because we know that Austin Theory is somebody who is, he was injured, taken off of television. Then there was this report that he was going to be part of War Games, join the Vision. And then obviously Seth Rollins vacates the belt. That obviously put a huge change in plans. Well, now according to WrestleVotes, there are people in the WWE who want to keep Austin Theory involved in big creative storylines. The news was shared on a new post on social media, and WrestleVotes did indicate that WWE does have plans for Austin Theory, even though the Seth Rollins thing has made a major change to things. So WWE is still very high up on Austin Theory, which By the way, I'm super excited about this. I'm a huge Austin Theory fan. This is a guy who I just think he has been screwed over by Vince McMahon. I think Triple H screwed him over. But this is a guy who gets it. This is a guy who gets it. And I've said, especially in recent weeks, this is a man that should be a babyface in the company. But if we're going to do a long, drawn-out story to get there, I'm cool with it. Austin Theory has history with Paul Heyman. You can find the footage yourself with Evolve and Paul Heyman announcing Austin Theory when he was champion. This is a guy who will absolutely kill it in WWE if given the opportunity. And before he even left, with the breakup between him and Grayson Waller, dude, the crowd was already asking for Austin Theory on TV. The reaction was amazing. So, I'm glad to see that WWE still reportedly has plans for him, despite the Seth Rollins injury. I actually recommend that they just make him the new leader of the Vision. Like, move on without Seth. Put Austin Theory in this position where he's the leader of the group. And I get it. Maybe it's a hot take, but I think they should do it. I think they should do it. I think if you put Austin Theory in that position, dude, eventually he could break away from everybody and become a massive babyface. You could do something really special between him and Seth Rollins as well. There's just a lot of ways it can go. Listen, in order for Austin Theory to have success long-term in the WWE, you have to treat him like a big deal. And it can't be forced upon everybody. That was the issue with Austin Theory before. Now people are starting to respect his work. They're starting to see what he's actually capable of. That's the reason why people were cheering for him before he left television. This is a no-brainer. This is an opportunity for WWE to be very smart. And if you put him into a big storyline on his return, it's a game changer. If you just throw him back into some sort of feud with Grayson Waller, I don't think that works out at all in the slightest. And that brings us to our next topic. Tony Khan is defending the decision to have a long pay-per-view. If you guys were thinking that maybe this would change, that's actually probably not going to be very likely. He was speaking on the Z100 New York radio station. He was doing an interview, and he was actually addressing this criticism. And, props to Tony Khan for not shying away for it. To be honest, you're not going to shy away from it. Cool. He's standing on business. But basically, he says, listen, it was 11:29 p.m. in St. Louis local time, so I thought it made sense. Here in the local time, we'll definitely be out well before midnight. And even on Eastern time, it will be earlier. It's just different time zones. Now, I don't like the fact that this guy is blaming the time zones, to be honest. But, it is valid. The idea that Tony Khan and AEW pay-per-views are going long is one of it's a driving factor in me not necessarily caring about their pay-per-views anymore. If this makes me a hater, then I'm gladly a hater. I don't know. An idea of a pay-per-view starting at 7 o'clock, ending at 12 o'clock, I don't like it, bro. I don't like it even when WWE was doing those long-ass pay-per-views. I really don't. I don't like WrestleMania being 8 hours long with kickoff shows and bullshit. I don't like when AEW does long pay-per-views. I just genuinely don't like it. And the thing is, not everybody is me, and that's cool, and I understand that. But the overwhelming consensus by wrestling fans is that these pay-per-views are too long. There is too much filler on these pay-per-views. It's a very valid criticism. I think overwhelmingly more people actually agree with that criticism. I think that's one of the valid criticisms that are made that people genuinely agree with. Tony Khan, I understand what he's doing, and from a business perspective, he is giving people more bang for their buck. You're spending money on tickets, you're getting to see a lot of matches, I get it. But these shows go on way too long. It's like WWE doing a 3-hour-long pay-per-view, PLE, but you're having commercials during it. It's ridiculous, bro. Give us the good stuff and make it 2.5, 3 hours, call it a day. I don't know, man. Plus, you're doing a media scrum right after. It's just a very, very valid thing. So, Tony Khan is standing on business. I don't think this is going to change. If it does, I'll be shocked. But Tony Khan is standing on business. And that brings us to our final topic. Ladies and gentlemen, Samantha Irvin has revealed on social media that she is still locked into WWE's non-compete clause, which was really crazy because she came out and revealed that she has 1 year down 1 year left on her non-compete. Wow. So when she left the WWE, obviously, listen, WWE does these non-compete clauses. We get it. We know it. We understand, whatever. But the problem here is that Samantha Irvin being locked down for 2 years, this is borderline crazy to me. Listen, man, WWE, TKO, I don't know, were you trying to prevent Samantha Irvin from going to AEW? Because listen, after 2 years, she's probably showing up in AEW. That's what I think. That's like a feeling that I'm getting. But if you're the WWE, that is like, man, like I get it. You have a 90-day non-compete clause when you get released. You pay them for 90 days. I'm not going to argue against that since, that's the way it is. Why would you have a 2-year non-compete clause and then continue to pay them for 2 years? It just seems like such a waste of resources and a waste of money. And we're talking about Samantha Irvin, who, respectfully, she's one of my favorite ring announcers of all time, but she's not going to increase another wrestling company's business. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE is going to do what WWE does, and sometimes we're just going to have situations like this where I fundamentally disagree. This is one of them. That's The Angle Show. Let me know what you think down below.